What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Element.
My name is Flip.
And we get together every Sunday to talk about our favorite Asian dramas. This week, I'm delivering my top characters for all of the dramas we've covered so far. So let's go.
Who do you have in your top 10 list? I am wondering who reigns supreme in your number one, but let's do it. Let's see.
Well, starting at number 10, we have Yichu from The King's Avatar. Now, obviously, you know, the gamer inside me appreciates how he's portrayed, you know, and how the show was portrayed with the video game graphics and just, you know, some of it is a little bit romanticized and you know, exaggerated, but I like the way that they had some emphasis on his skills with the mouse and keyboard, and just everything seemed so authentic. And him, just the character himself is someone who we all aspire to as gamers. You know, you grab your controller, you grab your mouse and keyboard, and you think that eventually you'll become this master at whatever game you're playing, and that's why he's number 10 on my list.
Absolutely. Yichu was one of those best in the world, right? Like, you aspire to be the best video gamer in the world. And if you ever played video games, especially RPGs like Final Fantasy, I had him, I think, in number 9 or number 8 spot in my list last video. But I do understand why he belongs up there. He's you know, he's somebody that you aspire to, and number 10 seems a little too low for me, but it's your list.
I mean, there are so many characters. Number 9 on my list is ZHAN, Wang Ji, you know, of Gusu clan.
Yes.
Untamed is one of my favorite Chinese dramas of last year, primarily because, you know, it was a time that we actually got back into Chinese dramas, right? We hadn't seen them in forever since Wong Fei Hung and Wuxia and all of those classics, Storm Riders to name a few. And ZHAN, you know, he was, you know, I don't typically gravitate towards characters who are very stoic, very vacant, and just very grounded in their own character and in their own self-seriousness.
Okay.
But the way he plays with Wei Wuxian and the way he displays his loyalty and never gives up and never stops believing in Wei Wuxian is what struck a chord with me, and that's why he's number 9.
ZHAN is one of those characters that you only really truly fall in love with because of their counterparts. And that's why you mentioned Wei Wuxian, who I'm hoping makes it in the top 3 on your list. But ZHAN is just one of those, like, beautiful, stoic, handsome, and just, like, graceful on the screen. And his demeanor, the actor himself, Yiban, I believe his name is Yiban, he's a very good actor.
Yeah.
But I did wish he was a little bit higher on your list.
Again, so many characters to include in this list, but one thing I will say about ZHAN, or the actor himself, he's one of the prime examples of a silent charisma.
Oh, that's a good one.
Number 8 on my list is XIAOYU'ER. And I thoroughly enjoyed his character and Handsome Siblings. I mean, you know, I do love jokester characters. I love characters who don't take themselves seriously, and his character particularly was written so well that you never really could guess. Now, like, his arc was a little bit predictable, but you could never predict what he was going to do next. And there are a lot of twists in the end of Handsome Siblings that I didn't even see coming, and it subverted my expectations. And XIAOYU'ER as a character always surprised me, and that's why he's at number 8.
At number 8, that's pretty... I think that's at a good place at number 8. XIAOYU'ER is like our Naruto of all of these Chinese dramas, right? He was so much fun. He was brilliantly acted, so joyful, brought a smile on my face every time he was on screen. I like that number.
Number 7 on my list is Wei Wuxian.
Wow, what? Oh, wait a minute, wait, guys.
Let me preface this by saying there's a lot of characters, as I've been saying.
Wait a minute. Leave your comments in the section below right now. Oh my god, I'm so blown away.
What number was Wei Wuxian for you?
Number 2.
Are you sure?
He was number 2 on my list.
In any case...
That is way too low for Wei Wuxian. Oh my God.
This is the reason why we have separate lists, right? Because we have totally different takeaways from each of these characters. Wei Wuxian, obviously, he's right next to XIAOYU'ER in this case because he's comical, he was a breath of fresh air, he provided levity and brevity to the Untamed, and he just worked so well with ZHAN. and I liked his arc. You know, a lot of times I root for the underdog, and every time he was, you know, put up against the wall, he came out on top, and he didn't really waver in his resolve.
Although I strongly disagree with where you've put Wei Wuxian.
Yeah, you've made that
It is
clear.
your list. It is your list, and I respect that, but I'm sure you're gonna get it in the comment section below, so I'll leave it at that. Leave your comments in the section below. Go in the attack. This is way too low on the list.
Wow, inciting riots, inciting violent hate, cyberbullying. That's just not.
But be nice. But be nice.
That's not what Wei Wuxian and Lan Shan would stand for.
But be nice.
Number 6 on my list is Sui. His character in particular, same reason for Wei Wuxian. He never wavered in his resolve and his beliefs. He always stood true to the person he was trying to be. He was trying to live up to his father's name. He was trying to fight for his friends and protect his family. And I like the arc that he went through. He went through several arcs in My Country. And just in general thought he was a great character, and he was surrounded by great supporting roles too.
Yeah, I mean, So Wei was the bedrock of My Country. He never wavered, just like Lan Zhan, but Lan Zhan's prettier. So Wei was kind of just the one strong rock on top of everything wrong that can happen, right?
Yeah,
the
I mean,
strife
that's
of
the one...
princes.
Yeah.
The strife of the princes and like his family, and it was just so sad. But he was the one hero of that show.
Yeah, and the one difference I will say, like, between their similarities, Lan Shan and Sui, is that Sui went through so much hardship.
So much shit.
Like, Lan Shan, he had to stick by Wei Wuxian, whereas Sui had to, like, you know, go to war, almost die, get stabbed 1,800 times and not die.
His resolve was
get poisoned.
Yeah, his resolve was probably tested
yes,
over and over and over again.
And that's why he's higher on my list. Just a step further from number 6, at number 5 is Hee-jae. I'd say, you say Sui is the bedrock of My Country. Hee-jae is the bedrock of Sui. Now, being that she was saved by Sui's father and then ends up being Sui's love interest, she's so much more than that. She's a strong female character. She had obviously a huge role in the background scene of her Kinseng, or being the Madame Han. She played a pivotal role in the uprising with Bang Wan. She played a lot of politics, and there's a lot of like background dealings that you don't get to immediately see when the story is being told, but she's more important than you think she is.
Yeah, I like how you've said that she's the bedrock of So Wei. She also made everything a little bit more romantic in the story too. But when you talk about her being, you know, the mistress of the Kinseng, or the madam of the Kinseng, and like kind of being involved in those political plot points, you know, she did kind of provide a breath of fresh air, because otherwise all you would get is just a bunch of dudes fighting each other.
Yeah, or just a bunch of dudes playing politics. But she had that role in the series where you didn't think those things could happen in the behind the scenes. And that's why she's very important to the story. She's also very pretty and beautiful, and I like her. Shout out to Ace of Angels. Number 4 on my list is TAGON. TAGON, you know, you love to hate him and you hate to love him, because he's one of those characters that in the beginning, you know, he's propped up to be this hero, right? But, you know, you meet the other underdog in the story, EUNSEOM, and like their two ambitions or aspirations are clashing, and so there's conflict there, and TAGON takes on this kind of more kingly role or more lordly role, and just throws all of the underdog stuff out the window.
Yeah, I love TAGON. I wish he was a little bit higher on your list as well, but TAGON is just one of those ultra charismatic characters that just draws you in, right? Like every time you see him on screen, his acting ability, or just the way he portrays the character, is just like, you love him, you hate him, you hate him some more, and you love him some more. I don't know which side I should be on, but at the end of the day is like he provides like an amazing, you know, dynamic for the show.
And the reason he's not higher on my list is because of those things that make you hate him. Like he's like an Igutu, and he should be helping EUNSEOM, but he's not. He's all hell bent on his aspirations for power, and yeah, that stuff kind of just rubs me the wrong way.
Ooh.
But he's high up there for his acting, his charisma, and his character in general.
I think I'm gonna be very, very disappointed in your top 3.
Starting off, my top 3 is probably something Flip didn't see coming, and probably something that he's going to be very disappointed in. My number 3, I'm going to make it a pair because they come together. Goeri and DALGEON from Vagabond.
Come on.
No, this series was really, really good. I look forward to season 2, and those two characters carried the series from start to finish. You wanted to see how DALGEON would become a stuntman to a secret agent, and you wanted to see how Goeri would go from being like an intellectual agent to a field agent. And now by the end of the first season, DALGEON is a secret agent. He's working for a Black Ops private military corps, and Goeri is you know, she's like this undercover rogue agent or whatever, and trying to bring down the system that way. And their characters go through such a huge arc from episode 1 to the last episode of season 1, and that's why I think you were surprised in their inclusion, and I was surprised that they were not in my first draft of this list, but they made it. Goeri and DALGEON, number 3.
Wow, the forgotten pair of heroes in our list of shows that we've covered. The reason why I excluded them was because I'm just so captivated with, you know, the high fantasy dramas that we've been watching, you know, the ARTHDAL Chronicles, like fantasy, like it was all revolving around fantasy, and I'm drawn to that a little bit more with those types of characters. But that was unexpected.
Yeah, we gotta give contemporary pieces a little bit more love too, man. We can't just have a list full of fantasy characters. Another thing that'll disappoint Flip will be my number 2, which is Bang Wan. Now, you know,
I don't know who your number 1 is now.
Well, you will, and you'll be still disappointed.
Oh my god, guys!
What is happening? Bang Wan in my country. My list is very authentic. I'm not trying to pander here.
I'm not pandering either, but
Bang
you
Wan
guys know who I like.
Charismatic. He carried my country in those scenes with Lee Sung-gae. Even like I said to Flip, in a historical context, Lee Sung-gae is a historical figure. He is a hero to Korean history, but I cared more about what Bang Wan was going on with in my country. I wanted to know more about his story because I think more because of his actor, because he played him so charismatically. He so few times made me hate him, and a lot of times when I saw him on screen, I just wanted to see him succeed.
Yeah,
I wanted him to succeed in his, you know, uprising. I wanted him to usurp the throne. When he had gotten into some conflicts with Sui, I was like, come on, let's get this over with and get back on business. But thankfully, he didn't go through many of those. So he had a lot of time to become a great character in the series. And it's a tough sell to be more important than a historical figure that everyone recognizes. Well, at least I recognize from history.
Well, number 2 isn't bad. Bang Wan was number 1 in my list. I'm wondering who number 1 is.
Number 1 on my list. The number 1 disappointing character for Flip, EUNSEOM. And here is why. See, I'm trying not to pander to the audience here. I know from judging from our last video with Flip's choice of number 1 and everyone agreeing with him, I knew that I needed to subvert expectations. I needed to pick someone who actually excites me more than Bang Wan, and that is EUNSEOM, because
that's totally fine. You're being honest. This is your list. These are the characters that strongly gravitated towards you the most.
Yes, and so EUNSEOM, why is he number 1 for me? Because I am looking forward so much to his arc right now, and they've confirmed ARTHDAL Chronicles season 2, right? So why do I have to look forward to EUNSEOM? Because we have Kanmaru still, the actual Ottoman Hesla, the actual myth to come to fruition. Now I'm waiting for this to be EUNSEOM, and I've been thinking it was him since early on in season 1. And I knew for a fact that TAGON wasn't, because EUNSEOM is in Igutu, he has to go through so much hardship, and he's been like...
Most of the prophecy has been coming true revolving around EUNSEOM.
Yeah, when he's with those clans and he survives the waterfall, a lot of things are happening in his favor that, revolve around the mythology behind Ottoman Hesla, or that person in that clan's mythology. They have different names for him, right?
Yeah.
And so when he starts to gain favor with these clans and he starts to build up his troops, build up his clan, his own army, that prospect of him coming back to ARTHDAL as Ottoman Hesla or as Kanmaru, riding his horse again into ARTHDAL and liberating those people, it just excites me to the core. And, as much as I love Bangwon in the historical context of my country, we know that the history is written there. But this is purely fantasy, and we have nothing to go on. And so I'm looking forward to EUNSEOM, Kanmaru, and Ottoman Hesla.
Wow, that is an amazing list. I am very impressed. It was the worst list. Oh, it's okay. It's totally fine. This is Element's list, and I totally respect that. EUNSEOM has actually, him mentioning him, the #1 spot has actually re-energized my excitement for season 2 of ARTHDAL Chronicles. Remember, when we first discovered ARTHDAL Chronicles, it was one of the major turning points of our channel.
Yes.
Where we just started enjoying all of these Asian dramas and so much more.
All right, guys, that'll wrap it up for my top 10 list of Asian drama characters. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on notifications so you know when we post new videos, and we'll see you next time.